Stress is rising on every turn. Folks in the neighborhood getting cracked out, all while Franklin Saint is sleeping like a baby. You're watching the Snowfall After Show.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, everybody?
Welcome, guys, to the Snowfall After Show. This is season 3. We had a long run, okay? We going strong, still in action. This is season 3, the premiere episode. Tonight, we're going to give you all things Franklin and his family and their rundown, see what's going on with them. Then we're going to talk about Teddy and his issues, what he got going on, and how he's still working with the DA. And we're going to give you the beef that's going on with all the family and everybody who got beef with Franklin and Louie and Teddy. And it's just beef all over the place. We're going to give you all of that. Not only that, we got a special tribute to the late, great John Singleton. We have our news and gossip and our top 3 segments for tonight. Before we get into all of that, I'm Porchia Carter, and these are my wonderful panelists.
Hello, everybody. I am LMarie.
And my name is Adaeze.
So, guys, let me hear y'all top of the show thoughts.
Oh, man. First, that's like my first reaction. It's just like, oh, man. It was so much going on in this first episode that has me hyped for the rest of the season. Because I'm like, if you gave us like all of this right now, like I can only imagine what we have in store for us. So I'm shocked, surprised, and excited.
I was stressed. I guess it's another S. Shocked, surprised, and stressed. Franklin's going through it pretty early. Like you said, if they're going to give us all of that this episode, I'm actually kind of scared of what's going to happen for him. But he seems tough. We'll see. How about you?
I'm stressed too. I just, I had a hard time tonight. I was watching somebody walk across the street, and then the next thing I know, he was, bullet to the head on the ground. And that just took me all out for the rest of the episode. I said, what is this? What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What's going on? So, speaking of what's going on, we bring the season premiere back with Franklin living it up. Him and his mama, they're back together. They're having their mother-son time. Not only that, they are shopping around for apartment complexes. They about to be owning property.
This money, okay?
Out here getting this money. And then we got Uncle Jerome, who just so happened to open up his own record speaker shop. His music situation, whatever he got going on, look, people about to be coming up in there, going to be buying them records. They're going to be listening to stuff in there. He got the whole setup going on. Like, the family is booming. How did y'all feel about us being brought back into greatness?
I was happy to see Franklin and his mom working together. You know what I mean? Because, later on, she goes to say, that was the worst moment, her seeing him in jail, behind that glass. And so that kind of changed, I guess, her relationship with him. No matter what, you're my son, you're my child, I have to stick by your side. So I like to see them working together. She's, has to be a part of the business in a way, I guess. So I like that.
Yeah, I would agree. And the way the season ended last season, you would not think that it would be such a pretty picture. We've seen Franklin go to jail. And, he's the head of the operation. So, just like he was talking about the head of the snake going down, we didn't know what was going to happen. And they ended up opening the season. He got Jerome got a speaker shop. The mom is in business. And knowing what Franklin does, she's okay with that, which we didn't see last season. Right. So, I was shocked that everything was so peachy, but it didn't last as we saw. So.
Yeah, I'm just excited that we didn't come back into gloom. Because we ended with gloom and we didn't come back into that. But we do kind of see where things are going with Franklin and his mindset, because we ended last season with him noting the fact that, all right, Teddy, well, he doesn't know him as Teddy. He know him as Reed Thompson. So he has some type of insight in the back of his mind that Reed is not who he say he is, and obviously he, got a little bit more power than he got, and we might just be working for him. And then we kind of see that play out with Franklin keeping a journal about all of his transactions with quote-unquote Reed Thompson. Right. So that's amazing. I wasn't expecting that. How did y'all feel about Leon and his new, I guess, role in how this is playing out. He
I
like
was
boss
just
of the
like,
boss
right?
type.
I was
Okay.
like, okay, Leon.
He's
okay.
been working out too. You saw his chest.
Okay. He done got some muscles on
That's
it.
okay.
He done bumped all the way up. I said,
It's like, okay. So
But,
yeah, and I was at the premiere for this season for Snowfall, and I kind of asked Leon, I was like, well, now that, you know, the other guy's gone, Franklin unfortunately took him out, will your character be stepping up?
Unfortunately.
And I was like, will your character be stepping up? He was like, yeah, but yeah. It's like he got so excited. He's like, you got to wait and see. But the excitement on him was like,
Yeah.
okay, so it looked like you're doing big things. And as we
Right.
see,
shout out to
he
you for
is.
going to the premiere.
Right.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's
Once I can
lit.
get some
Come
clips out, I'll
on.
show you
Jealous.
guys. Yeah.
Yes. All right. So I want to ask y'all something. So since we are on the topic of Leon, you know, and his step up, how do y'all feel about them running the streets, just shooting people down?
Honestly, I could appreciate it because if you guys are watching, if you guys are supposed to be these top dogs and you're watching your area and everything that was going on, I didn't understand how a car could just sit there in the hood if they're not your part of your hood and nobody catch that. So that was my concern. Like, how are they sitting here this long and nobody caught that? So by the time they got out the car and they walking and it got popped, I was like, okay, you guys are who I thought you were. You know what I mean? Because I thought they were getting ready to get caught slipping, but they weren't. They're on top of it. So I was like, okay.
Honestly, I had no idea that was going on. But when it happened, when I just seen it, they just started shooting people down, you know, in the middle of nowhere. I think that's very reckless. You know, granted, they were about to rob them, so their instincts are up in height. But I just think that was really reckless, and it goes to show what Andre was talking about towards the end when he was like, "Oh, yo, people being real messy out here." Like, what's the issue?
It is because it's not broad daylight, but the fact that it's just open in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? You didn't sneak do it. You guys are walking up, no mask. You know what I mean? Like not hiding. So it was a little bit reckless.
Yeah, it just goes to show you though that is those are Franklin streets. Like they feel so comfortable that they could do that in broad. I don't know if they would do it in broad daylight, but I would say you said it's a little bit like you were saying they were slipping a little bit because like how could they see a car? But I think it was smart. It's calculated. I'm sure they were watching that car sit there and they were waiting for something to happen. And it was good that they did that because now they can get intel because he was able to go back and tell Franklin, this is what's happened. These are these two kids, like these two guys, and you know. So it sounds like Leon is like taking that COO, like you got the CEO, he's like the COO, and he's really stepping up in his role in the operation. So good for Leon, even though he's a murderer. But good for Leon.
She said, even though he's a murderer.
I want to give him kudos like that.
Right. But no, yeah, that's what I was saying because I was saying I was surprised. I was thinking it was gonna go the opposite way, but then when they showed up, I was like, oh, okay. Yep.
Well, speaking of watching the streets in the neighborhood, why don't y'all listen to how you can keep watching us? We got all the details. Hit them with it, baby.
Yeah.
So we just want to, first of all, thank you for coming to the premiere episode of AfterBuzz's Snowfall's After Show.
Thank you.
And making us the ESPN of TV Talk. If you're on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know how we're doing and how you feel about the episode. And if you're on iTunes, give us 5 stars and let us know we're doing an amazing job. We really appreciate you guys. Let us know how you feel. Tell your friends to tune in and interact with us because we love to hear how y'all feel too.
Yep.
Yes, we do. We appreciate you all so much. AfterBuzz has been amazing to my life, our lives.
Yes.
And if y'all keep watching us, we are just going to grow together, okay? Speaking of grow together, Teddy and his brother Matt, they grew up together, but we don't know if they going to finish this thing out together, okay?
Yeah.
Because Teddy is having this meeting with this Russian guy who wants to open this club. And all while that is happening, his brother is having some physical issues. But before we get into these physical issues, let's talk about this meeting because I was a little confused at what was going on here. Because we got DEA girl, and we got the Russian, and then we got Teddy. And it's just a lot of crazy in this situation. Tell me your thoughts on that.
I was like, I'm watching like, well, maybe more of it'll be explained. Maybe he's trying to get this club and push drugs through the club, or I don't know. Because I'm like, what's the Russian's point? Like, why is he working with Reed or Teddy, whomever? So yeah, I was confused with you as well. And then I didn't even really notice the girl because I was so like, what is their meeting about? Until you saw her, and I was like, oh yeah, why is she there? You know. So now we know like Teddy's trying to get her on his side, but it's like I still don't trust her because later on she was talking about something else. Like, well, we got to go after them and blah blah blah. She's always so gung ho to like catch somebody. You know what I mean? And do her job. I mean, I guess you should. But it's just that she's so into it that I can't trust that she'll be on Teddy's side and do what he needs her to do.
Yeah.
So I don't trust her.
I think Teddy is in over his head, and he realizes that. He was very skeptical when he was hearing about the nightclub deal. That is not really what he went into this trying to do. But it might work out for him. He said that he knows the LA streets. He's a little bit skeptical when he when he met up with with Franklin and tried to up the price on the keys. He even sounded shaky then too, like, this is just part of the business, don't you know that? Yeah. And then also it sounds like Franklin let on that he knows a little bit more about Reed Thompson than Reed Thompson knew that he knew about him. Like, why would you think that I'm immune? I feel like Franklin,
And that was kind of early, too.
A little early. Don't drop the bomb yet. But then maybe he was trying to say, listen, I have my eye on you just like you had my eye on me. So maybe we'll see the tables turn with Reed Thompson. Maybe we'll see the power shift there. So
yeah,
he did get a little shook, I think. Reed did, yeah.
He got a little shook, but he pulled the "I'll put you back in jail" card.
True.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
True.
You don't try to do business with me and then threaten my whole life.
Yeah. But I feel like that's why he threatened him, like, oh, so
put him back
so
in
you
check.
don't, go any further with this.
I was like, ooh.
Because I'm like, oh.
That was actually too much for me, because I was just like, even if Franklin do know some stuff about you, the least you need to do is be honest and let him know what he working with. You upping him 50% of the charge of what he was paying for the kilos before. Now, he got more money to come up out of. You need to be offering up some more information. Why am I... Because I'm not understanding. If we're going to be in business together, you need to let me know at least some type of insight on something.
Right, but you know what? I think Reed is scared. He's scared of Franklin, and I think he's scared of this position he's in. He looks like he's in trouble, and he's trying to play the "I'm the DEA, I'll put you back in jail" card. But something tells me that he's not going to put Franklin back in jail because he needs him. He needs him to push that, because now he's in other business with other people. He needs to make this money. So I think Franklin's going to call him out on his bluff. I hope he does.
Yeah, I hope he does too. That's why it was kind of interesting to see that little journal that he's keeping with everything. And I'm just like, wow, he write like I do, okay? Because he had pages.
He did.
Listen.
All right. So what do y'all think about DEA girl and her playing both sides of the fence?
I don't like her.
I just don't like her. I don't trust her.
She's sneaky, and I think that's what I'm saying. I think that Reed is in trouble, because I don't think he knows what he's what he's dealing with this DEA lady. I can't remember her name. But I think that she's going to end up playing Reed, and he's going to end up in trouble.
Because she was so upset when they shut down the operation last season. She didn't have no understanding for it, and she wanted to know more. Then she show up at Reed's spot, and he like, take her walk with me. Lo and behold, she know the whole thing that's going on now, and now he got her on his side, which is very stupid. Him of all people should know better.
Yeah,
because it's like she's like playing both sides of the fence. She has one foot in this door, one foot in the other, because like he said, oh, she used to be DEA, and then later on it's like, oh, she still has ties there. So it's like, what is going on here exactly? So. Yeah, I just don't, like we said, I don't trust her. I think she is going to play him in the end.
And Franklin doesn't know that DEA lady and Reed are working together, right? No, so he's going to find that out.
He don't, but he know that she the feds, though. He know about her,
he going to see them together and be like, what are they doing together? So, we'll see.
Yeah, that's interesting. And what else is interesting is the fact that this man is really going to all the most desperate stops. He done pulled up on Oso, a.k.a. Gustavo, and let him know that, I want to use Lucia's family's farm to, I guess, trade or transport his drugs and everything that he's about to be doing, and he need a pilot. He comes to him with this, and Gustavo is not even in Lucia's family, and they don't even like Lucia, so why would they even like the guy who shot up everybody with her? You know what I'm saying? So desperate. How did y'all feel about that?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, they're not really in a good place for him to go back there and ask, you know what I mean, to be a part of the business. But then again, if their business has stopped, then maybe they may be desperate as well. We haven't seen them yet. So they may be in a position where they're like, you know what, we kind of have to put that behind us. And we do have to work with you because we need to move some things around too.
What I did like was that granted, this was probably manipulation, but he alluded to the fact that if you love your woman and you want to find your woman, you gonna go to her family first, you know, like at the end of the day, because that's basically how her cousin Pedro played them off last season when he went ghost for a little bit, came back to family, and he like, hey, I got a girlfriend, even though she was DA. He like, I got a girlfriend. We trying to get back in the family business. So it kind of makes sense, but it's like a cycle a little bit that I don't want to see them go down.
Yeah. Right. It looks like Gustavo's in a place of desperation too. I mean, he looks disheveled. The way he was acting at the bar. I mean, he just was going outside. So I think they're both in a place where maybe they need each other. And I think
because this fool is a whole bouncer getting his butt beat.
He is a mess.
I can't. Yeah. I have no, I'm not with it. And you know what else I'm not with? All of this beef that we have with the people. So we got a lot going on right now. Everybody seems to have beef with somebody. Manboy got beef with the whole crew because he won't in and he want to take Franklin's spot somehow. Some way, I don't know how that's going to go down. Then we got Claudia, who got beef with Auntie Louie still, and that is not working out. And then we got Andre, who got beef with Franklin. And it's just a lot of beef going on. Y'all just pick one of them and let me tell me how you feel about
it's a lot
one of them. It's just a lot.
I'll tell you the one that's hurting me the most is Andre at the very end. Because, you know, it started off with him chasing down the car and seeing what the effects of Franklin's drugs is doing to the streets. That's one thing. Then he pulls up at the record store or the speaker store party and sees his daughter. I think that is what pushed him over because I think his daughter's going off to school. He is kind of chilling and laying low, but I think everything is piling up on Andre right now. He's just fed up. And he's going to take it into his own hands. And he was talking tough. And he knew a lot. Like, and Franklin thinks he's, like, untouchable. And he didn't even realize, like, this cop knows everything. The way he was listing it down, I was like, And he's in the right position to do it. He's a cop. So that one touched me. Yeah. At the very end. So.
Yeah. I think mine was, like, with Manboy and, like, his whole crew. And to see that, what was her name, Wanda? Yeah. That she was there. You know what I mean? Like,
she a snake.
Everything. You know what I mean? Wanda. Taught them everything, helping them to try to take over Franklin's business. And it's just like, really? Yeah, you snake, two-faced. Like, I was disappointed in that. Like, it's good for the show, but I was just like, really? So that upset me.
Yeah. Well, let's look at Wanda. Let's just break this down. Wanda is a crackhead, okay? And what do crackheads want?
Crack.
More crack, okay? What is these boys giving her?
Crack. They
okay?
sound like the dog. Did y'all see that?
He was like,
here's him.
You want this?
You know?
They have lured her in with the crack.
Yes.
They're bribing her with the crack. They're paying her with the crack.
Oh, and
she's teaching them how to cook the crack that she won't.
All that. And what popped in my head, because at first I was thinking, oh, she got clean, but then I remembered, no, she escaped and got away when Leon had her locked up. Yeah. So I was like, oh, because I was thinking, you got clean, girl, but she didn't.
And what do a crackhead do when they want crack? Just about anything, okay? Just about anything.
I didn't even know just about
anything.
Right.
They will do absolutely anything. There we go. Absolutely anything.
But, you know, I didn't think that Wanda had the balls to pretty much, she kind of started her own crew. Taught these new people and just to take down Franklin. Like, that's kind of bold to me. I didn't think that she was going to do that. And
I don't think she's taking him down. I think she just wants some crack.
That's true. You know what?
That's
true.
She's assisting.
That's true. No, but that's true. She just wants some crack. All right.
No, for real.
That's her main objective.
So that's disappointing, though, because come on, like Wanda's going outside. I mean, she's been going outside, so because.
Oh yeah. Was just
I was really appalled at that, and I was scared because Andre is painting this picture because of what he has seen already. Because the show opens up with the woman trying to jump in the car while the guy is driving on the street super fast. You know, she's trying to jump in and get that crack. And then when she falls out the car and just so happens to grab some and smoke it, he sees what it does to her brain. And then he sees how his daughter is, nose wide open for Franklin. And so he is kind of like on edge at this point. And then he drops Franklin off at the crack house.
Yes. And that was Franklin's I could not believe that was his first look. Maybe it took
that
the
was
talk.
his first time seeing.
Yeah, it took the talk to
what
make
he's
him
doing.
open his eyes, like, oh, like, wow, you know, and I no longer sleeping like a baby, like, you know, it's gonna be on his brain a little bit. So I actually like that he saw that.
Saying that was like, he was shook, because at first I thought he dropped him off somewhere, maybe at Manboy's house, like, you know what I mean, to put him in a bad position. Then we, you know, the camera flips and it's, you know, all the people that he's at the crack house, all the people he's seeing, everyone strung out, as they say, like, just. And that
they
just
got that
bothered
stuff from
him.
his people.
You could see it in his face that he was like affected by that. Like, dang.
Andre's calculated.
Yeah.
He's calculated. Like, he was basically, you know, giving him the ins and outs. He told his little story about how he had to sell, and then he just basically like, this stuff is messing up our people. At the end of the day, you telling me that I need to go turn my badge in to the white people who gave it to me, but no. I'm doing this because he literally said, I'm a spy for my people to make sure that they are right on this side of the law. And then Franklin messing up.
He was so smug. Like, I think that talk was really to try to open Franklin's eyes, just like genuinely. And then him offering him a position with his crew and being like, you know, I'm sleeping like a baby. Then he was like, you know, I give you a chance. Now this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm going to take you down. So I was like, okay, the war is on. Franklin's getting war from every direction.
He is.
Every direction. He literally was like, you in war with me now.
Yes. And his prices are up at that. Like, it's stressful.
Your price is up. Your supplier don't got no pilot for his plane. He ain't got nowhere to transport his money. His drugs that you trying to get from him. And then the girl that you love, her daddy is the one you at war with. So that's twice on your head.
And he has competition. Yeah, he has competition now.
It's crazy.
Damn, Franklin.
We don't know how he gonna come back from this. It's crazy. But you know who ain't gonna come back from something? Claudia and this heroin that she done got Auntie Louie to smoking. I don't understand
She's
it.
so weak for her. I can't believe
that.
that.
I don't understand it.
She disappoints me.
I was just angry at that. You know what I mean? I was just like, Louie.
So upset.
Yeah,
so
she
upset.
went there to, again, like how Andre was describing it. He got his people doing his dirty work for her, and she went there to try to make peace, and she just ended up just falling. And like, she didn't even have to do anything. She just got in the tub and strapped up her arm. Right. I don't know what kind of spell she got Louie on, but
because at first I was thinking, because the way she told Franklin, she was like, just talk to her first. I didn't. When I saw, I thought Franklin was going. I guess maybe like I misheard it or something. I thought Franklin was going. I thought Louie was like, just talk to her first or something. She must have said, let me talk to her. But so I thought Franklin was going. So when I saw Louie show up, I was like, oh shit. Excuse me. We already know. I felt like I knew where this was going if Louie showed up. Right. You know what I mean? Because she already showed that soft spot. Like, let's talk to her. Why? She just trashed Jerome's store.
It should have been war.
What are we talking about?
She shut them. First of all, they had a grand opening 2 days before. Then now a couple days later, the whole thing broken into trash, and Jerome is mad.
And he doesn't know who did it. That's going to come
and she doesn't want to tell him.
And you sleeping with the enemy. Look, we don't know what they did because we don't know how that played out. We just know she came back home crying.
She did. It's going to hurt him when he finds out.
And he's going to find out.
Jerome really loves her.
He does.
He really loves Auntie Louie. Like, that whole, last season when he talked about the bench and all of that, like, that is how they got back together. But you can see their love. Like, when Manboy walked up in there, he was like, not this one. As soon as he started talking to Auntie Louie, he like, what you want? Because now you just gotta stop.
Yeah.
So you can see how much he loves her,
And that's why it's gonna hurt even more when he finds out that one that she knew who trashed his store, and then eventually it's gonna come out that she's on that heroin with her too. It's gonna break his heart.
Do y'all think Franklin is gonna go into business with Manboy?
No, because remember at the deal he was like, listen, either I'm gonna go in business with you and I'm gonna kill your well, maybe because he was like, either I'm gonna go in business with you and your guy's gonna be gone, or I'm not gonna go in business and y'all all gonna be gone. Okay, so maybe
because then they went and got the.
Or maybe it's like keep your enemies closer kind of thing. So he'll do it.
I don't think it'll be right away. I think he's still gonna. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be right away. But if he does, maybe he will take out the crew and just keep Manboy.
You know what?
So that there's not that much, you know what I mean, competition. Like, I do have to, like, rid you of some of your people. You can come along, but not everybody.
I think it is going to be right away because I don't think he has the money for the price to go up double. he's gonna need
a good point.
Manboy's crew to pay him in order to make, because I think they doubled the price, 50%, right? So I think they
That's a
handled
good
it
point.
Yeah. They handled it just
for
like.
now.
Look, maybe, I believe that Franklin is going to take everybody Manboy, especially when he found out Wanda is behind this. He going to take out them and their whole crew, okay?
Yeah.
And the story is going to be over. But speaking of stories, I'm excited that this story has continued even with the tragedy that we have had of the creator. And speaking of that, we're going to go into our special segment, guys. Tonight, our special segment is a tribute to the legacy of John Singleton. John Singleton was ultimately a brave man. He was brave to be Black in America. He wasn't afraid to express his art and creativity in an industry that is not even, what could I say, a word for that is not even fond of placing his people on that type of market. He was a trailblazer, he was a history maker, and he was a pioneer. Yes, we have all been seeing tributes for him for the past couple of months since the tragedy, but I just want to give a few first that he has done. He was the youngest and the first African American to be nominated for an Academy Award for Outstanding Director.
Amazing.
The youngest of all time.
Yeah.
Not of just
period.
Black.
Yeah, just period.
The youngest of all time and the first African American, which is an amazing legacy to leave behind with us and he blazed a trail for people who want to be a part of something like that, who look up to him and see that they can do this too. Like, he gave them the inspiration that they needed. Not only that, he was the first person in film to broadcast hip-hop artists, to put them on the map, to put them on the big screen. He gave people a chance, such as Ice Cube, Tupac, and he was actually going to keep working with Tupac too, because Tupac was a little problematic to some people, but he a for real legend.
Talent.
But at that time, when Tupac passed, Tupac was originally supposed to be the lead character that Omar Epps played in Higher Learning. And it just so happened to not have been it. But when he did Boyz N the Hood, he jump-started so many people's career. Nia Long, Cuba Gooding, Ice Cube, Morris Chestnut, all these people got a jump start with someone who blazed a trail for them to do so. And it all happened with his bravery, his expertise, and his just creative arts, and knowing that he is a strong Black man who had something to say and who was able to portray what he had to say through his art. For that, we will always love John Singleton. We will always pay homage to him and everything that he has done. This show is because of him, and he was never afraid to showcase and put in the forefront things that people didn't want to talk about or want tribute to talk about. As I say that, I mentioned the fact that he was the first to portray Egyptians as Black people.
Yes.
When he directed Michael Jackson's Remember the Time video. Look at that.
Yeah,
yes.
amazing.
And it was just like, at that time, it was very controversial because for the most part in this era, people were seeing Egyptians as Caucasians. White
when
people.
they are a melanated people.
When they are a melanated people, okay? So, do you remember the time when we fell in love? Okay? Shout out to Michael Jackson as well,
I
you
know.
know? I just want to give
R.I.P.
a shout out to my coworker and friend, Lathleen, who is a John Singleton lover. She helped me with doing research with him, sending me articles, things of that nature, just to find out different things about him. She loved him so much, was so upset when he passed away. And then a shout out to my high school friend, Tristan, who is actually going to be guest starring in some of these episodes coming up, okay? He loved John Singleton too. So shout out to those people who were impacted greatly by his life. So before Snowfall started, our girl LMarie here got to interview John.
Yes.
And we want to just let her tell y'all a little bit about that, show the clip, you know.
So I'm going to set this clip up for you guys. Basically, so what we had him in studio for Rebel. It was a show that he did on BET.
Yeah.
But I had read about Snowfall, so I wanted to ask him about that and the premise of the show and everything. So he kind of broke it down for us. So we'll get to the clip in a moment. But like you said, he wasn't afraid to talk about things because his full clip won't show all of that. So like the whole purpose of like Snowfall is to show how the government was involved and, you know what I mean, getting drugs into the cities, into our cities and things like that. So, but yeah, here's a clip on him telling us about Snowfall and his upcoming project. Although that you are involved, that is another one of your creations, right? Yeah, that's going to be on FX.
On FX,
right?
yes.
So yeah, tell us a little bit more about that one.
Snowfall is a show. It's on FX networks coming out this summer. It's about how Los Angeles was changed because of cocaine. You know, the cocaine. Like we hear all these stories over and over again about Miami, what it was in the '80s, Scarface, Adaeze, Miami Vice, and all that stuff. There was a huge pipeline coming up from South America to Miami, right? But no one has told the story until now, until this show, about how the cocaine pipeline on the West Coast was created and how it affected so many different types of people.
Yeah, that is true because Miami and also New York, we always hear the story there.
Yeah, but
not
New York,
on.
the New York stuff came from Miami. You know, if you wanted to get coke in LA in the early '80s, it would have to go through Miami. People would drive it in vans across the country, and they won't find it again until these certain forces in the government started financing covert wars in Central America against communism in El Salvador and Nicaraguan stuff, right?
Yes.
And they needed capital to buy guns and weapons, so they found a way to do it by selling cocaine.
And that's basically what we see in Reed's character is that when he was working with
the government.
The government, and he was working with the guy with the guns and everything. So like, if you guys actually want to I think everyone should start Snowfall over from the first season.
Yeah.
Rewatch it and see how this is, you know what I mean, how everything came about. And like he said, it was a story that wasn't told. And like, let's tell this story. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know and didn't know how drugs got here. And a lot of times would blame it, you know, the 80s were known as that crack epidemic from LA to New York and anywhere in between. But they didn't know how the drugs got there. And they always would put it on us. And we ruined our communities. But it's not really the case. So he wasn't afraid to tell that story.
The government dropped it on us and was like, here, make some money.
There you go.
By killing your own people, okay? So we ain't got to do it. So, but it's really them doing it because they were the puppets. And that's why we just commend John so much for the tough topics that people weren't really to do the research on. He did the research. He did the research on, you know, what it's like in the hood. He grew up, you know, South Central Los Angeles. So he did his research. He, you know, put stuff out in the forefront. He's awakening our minds to know that things are going on in our communities. And as Black people, we need to be in the forefront of this, and we need to make sure that we know enough knowledge to have that power, because knowledge is power. And if we have power, then can't nobody run nothing on us. Okay.
And that was a talent of his, is to cover something so serious,
Yeah.
but also through entertainment, where people can still be entertained. You know what I mean? Like all of his classics, Boyz N the Hood. If you rewatch that, it's so many gems that he drops in that movie. You know what I'm saying?
Higher
Through
Learning,
the characters.
okay.
Yeah, especially Higher Learning, really. And a few in Poetic Justice, too. But I think Boyz N the Hood and Higher Learning will be the top two that you really, you know what I mean? He really drops some knowledge there. So it's like you really got to pay attention. Yeah, I encourage everyone, if you're a John Singleton fan, or even if you're not, go watch his films. It's like he's very empowering.
Yes, amazing. That brings us to our news and gossip segment.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, for news and gossip, we're going to continue to pay homage to John Singleton, film director, screenwriter, producer, and executive producer of Snowfall. Back in April, we know that John Singleton succumbed to a coma after having a stroke and died at the age of 51. His most notable works include Boyz N the Hood, Baby Boy, Poetic Justice, Higher Learning, Four Brothers, Shaft, and of course, Snowfall. The Snowfall cast describes him as the heart of the show, as he handpicked his cast members. So not only will he be missed by his cast, the cast members of Snowfall, and of course the community of Snowfall, but also all of Hollywood, as he was an integral part of the film industry, especially Black cinema. At the time of his death, celebrities took to Instagram and Twitter to pay homage and tribute to John Singleton.
Yeah.
We've seen posts from the likes of Samuel L. Jackson, Gabrielle Union, Regina King, Tyrese, people who he has impacted, put on and gave a chance where they probably would not have got a chance. Taraji, Tyrese, everyone. So it was just beautiful to see how many people he actually touched in this world, and especially in our community. And we can't be any short of thankful of John Singleton. So another rest in peace to John Singleton, and our condolences to his friends and family and those who he has impacted.
Yes. We love you, John. Before we close out, let's give y'all our top 3 of John Singleton's movies.
All right, we have our top 3 here, no particular order, but we're going to start off with Higher Learning, number 1, Poetic Justice, number 2, and Baby Boy for number 3.
Yes.
So Portia's pick was Higher Learning.
Nope.
That was my pick.
My bad.
No, my pick was just Higher Learning. Close.
Adaze's pick was Higher Learning. Portia's was Poetic Justice, and mine was Baby Boy.
Yes.
My bad.
Mine was
I wrote
Poetic
this
Justice
so
because
wrong.
I love Janet Jackson. I love Tupac. I just love, but I love the fact that John highlighted how women, the girlfriends of these people that die in the hood from these violent crimes, how they're affected. Because this was a woman who had just gone through losing her boyfriend to gun violence, you know, and it was her depiction of sorrow on that narrative. And we don't necessarily get that all the time. We always just see the crime and how it happens.
Yeah. We'll speed through this. Baby Boy for me was just because, just to once again on the opposite side show the men how they are, kind of how they grow up in the hood, baby here, baby there, you know what I mean? And they just need to step up and be a man, take care of families, one family, and just be there. And we saw Tyrese's character develop into that, where he stayed home, he became a man, and he got his things together.
Yes.
And I picked Higher Learning simply because it was my first introduction to see real racial tension within what would have been my demographic, young, 18, 19. It was, and he went full force with it. He didn't hold back at all, and it actually was kind of scary.
Yeah.
It was so scary to watch that. So I think it was done beautifully.
He did his thing, okay? Shout out to John Singleton. Rest heavenly.
Yes.
We will always and forever miss you. And sure, we need somebody to carry on a torch
Yes,
with
we do.
his type of art and creativity, okay? So, guys, let us know where they can find you. Until next time.
Until next time, you guys can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at LMarie TV.
And you can find me on Instagram at Adaeze. That's 180A, easy.
And I'm Porchia Carter. You can find me everywhere at Porchia Carter. See y'all next week. Next week, Tyra Prude will be in studio. Shout out to Tyra.
Tyra.
Full panel. Bye, guys.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.